Hello everyone, and welcome to my next video for Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, in which I'm going to be taking on the Power and Magic's Deepest Chasm Pitch Cosmos quest as part of the level 70 Batch 2 Awakening wave that's just arrived at the global version, and for this I'm going to be bringing a team of Ramza, Noctis and Warrior of Light with a Kistis non-friend support that I've had to unfollow because I only need her for the 3 turns. I'm going to have to remember to follow them back, and Shiva as a summon. So this Awakening wave, and in particular the reworks that it brought to Ramza, Yuna and Terra, is one of the most highly anticipated awakenings for myself personally, because Ramza is probably one of, if not my favourite protagonist in the entire Final Fantasy franchise. So a quick rundown on Final Fantasy Tactics, so just as a brief aside, the game was never actually released in European territories until it was re-released as the War of the Lions version, which came to the PSP and also to iOS and Android. Before that, the original PS1 release was only available in North America and Japan, as far as I'm aware. And so that left people who wanted to play it with one of two options. They could either import it from the US or they could pirate it. I won't say which method I ended up using, but I did manage to play this game when I first played it when I was about 18, which is a lot older than I was when I played most of the original Final Fantasy games. Needless to say, I do own it legally now. I've got both of the mobile versions and the PSP version, because I bought the original, but there was some slowdown with visual effects, so I got the mobile version hoping it would be better, and it wasn't, so I ended up having to turn to a fan-made patch, but that's a totally different story. But I was really interested in Tactics because it was being heralded as such a lot of people online were saying, oh, this game's such a classic, it's so incredible, you know, you have to play it. So I was really curious, and I decided that I would, you know, try and see what I thought. And one of the things about the War of the Lions version is that it has a completely revamped and reworked localization script. Originally I thought it was done by Alexander O. Smith, who was the guy who worked pretty closely with Yasumi Matsuno, and he also did, I think, Vagrant Story and Final Fantasy XII. Tactics was also another Matsuno project, so if you liked Vagrant Story, you probably played Tactics, but if you haven't, you'll probably love it, presuming you like that style of gameplay. But no, it wasn't actually done by him, but it seems very faithful to the sort of, you know, the old English sort of phrasing. But even with the original's somewhat awkward translation, one thing that immediately stood out to me was the protagonist, Ramza, and just what kind of character he is, basically, because I'm not going to go into too many story spoilers, but a large part of Tactics revolves around the parallels and contradictions of two characters, being Ramza and Delita, who's Ramza's childhood friend. And Delita kind of is basically a rags to riches story. Like, he is recorded in the history books as being the hero that brought about a social revolution and heralded Ivalice into a new age of prosperity, you know, like a golden age. But the forgotten hero of the story, who was condemned as a heretic by the church, is Ramza, and Tactics follows Ramza's story. And Ramza's completely the opposite. He starts out as the son of the most renowned and prestigious house of knights in the kingdom, being House Beowulf, and by the end of the game he's basically renounced all of that, and you know, on the surface Delita starts with nothing and ends up with everything, and Ramza starts out with everything and ends up with nothing. But if you follow the events of the game, I really wouldn't say that Ramza ends up with nothing. But what to me was most inspirational about his character was that how he's very high-minded and he's quite idealistic, but he's the kind of person who cannot stand to watch an injustice take place, like unfold in front of his eyes, and just stand by and do nothing. Like, he is compelled to help people and to do what he thinks and believes is the right thing to do, even if the rest of the world is against him. And that was honestly such an inspirational thing for me. Like, he has, in my opinion, some of the most memorable speeches in the entire franchise, you know, next to Yuna, who funnily enough is also probably my favourite female protagonist. I swear I don't just like the proselytizing ones, but there was something really, I really connected with Ramza's character, and I suppose that part of me kind of empathized with him, the way that he's able to kind of stay true to his beliefs and what he thinks is right in the face of a world that tries to paint him out as some kind of monster or pariah. And I think those kinds of stories are really important, you know, both in media and in games. especially in reality, because things are almost always several shades of grey, and especially in the game as well, things are definitely shades of grey in Tactics. But the way that Ramza just sort of cuts through all the bullshit, he knows that he's being caught up in things larger than himself. He knows that there are all kinds of political machinations going on between the two countries, but that doesn't matter to him, because all he can do is what he thinks is right. All he can do is all he can do, you know, and that straightforward sort of earnestness is just something that I really admire. So I really do like Ramza, but unfortunately he got a bit of the short end of the stick in Opera Omnia, in the global version especially, in my opinion, because he, I think, was supposed to be the first character to receive a 35 CP weapon. Now, I wasn't active in the game around that time because I quit shortly after Acre was released, and I only came back when Kuja came, so I definitely missed what was supposed to be Ramza's kind of original spotlight. But from what I hear, around that time in the game, Saz came along with his 35 CP and just kind of blew everyone out of the water, so he never really got that opportunity. And then there was Ramza's rework, not his rework, his level 60 Awakening, but around that time we had Ketchi, who was instantly a better buffer than Ramza and more damaging to boot. And then we had Ramza's EX, which kind of made him a bit of a nice pick, because it gave him that frame debuff, and it gave him something to do that wasn't a regular HP or a brave attack, basically. But in my opinion, it just wasn't enough. Ramza was just never very turn efficient, and although I do have my favourites that I like in the franchise, you know, I think Yuna is one of my favourite female characters, if not my, you know, my most preferred female protagonist in the series. I'm a die-hard Sephiroth fanboy, and I like Beatrix more than I probably should when you consider the horrible things that she did during the course of FF9, and how I think her redemption arc was completely botched. Like, she doesn't really have one. I just think she's really cool, and I love her aesthetic and her theme music, you know. But although I do have my favourites, at the same time, I don't like imposing challenge on myself for challenge's sake. I don't like gimping myself to make things difficult in games. So I'm almost always going to gravitate towards what is meta. So I'm kind of bound in this game. I will always use characters that are on the stronger side of things, because that's what I enjoy and that's what I want to do. I want a game that will challenge me just by virtue of the game itself. That's why I kind of grow to like the Shin Megami Tensei series, because they tend to be harder than your average RPG, you know. So but at the same time, I do want to use my favorites. I want to use Sephiroth, I want to use Cloud, I want to use Squall and Ramza and Yuna and all these characters. That's why, I mean, that's what part of the reason that Beatrix was so awesome, because she came out of nowhere and she was like a goddess for months. But now Ramza's rework has finally arrived with his level 70 Awakening, and my god, does he become an absolute monster, which might not necessarily be visible at first glance, but the main thing that his rework has given him is the stacking mechanics on Shout and Galvanize. And when you get up to 3 stacks of Shout, you get a HP plus attack. I'm just gonna call it triple plus, that's ridiculous. He gets a HP triple plus attack that doesn't consume a turn. It batteries based on his attack, and it does a brave hit, and then it does HP damage. So by the time you get to 3 stacks of Shout, you're basically doing free damage almost every turn. Like, his turn efficiency is really strong, and his Galvanize buff has been reworked so that the max brave buff actually ties into Galvanize itself. It's part of like an aura, and it also gives a little bit extra attack, and his C68 gives more attack as well. Like, I think if Sarah gives 90% attack, then Ramza gives 80%, and it also lasts for longer than Sarah's buff. And he's much more turn efficient, because Sarah steals turns. While she does more damage during her turn than Ramza's basically doesn't really take a turn. So yeah, that's really amazing. And with this, he basically has become viable for early chaos. So for someone like me, who's definitely appreciates Ramza as a character, this is just amazing news, to be honest. And I look forward to using him. So for this quest, I was actually going to bring along a Yuna friend support. And I did actually record a run where I had a Yuna as a friend, and I kind of summoned her in the second wave against the wolves. But the final boss on this heretic is Dark Bahamut, and he has an irritating habit of curing himself upwards of, like, he cures himself for 300,000 HP. And he does that relatively early into the fight, and also he does it if you summon and you don't kill him during the summon. He also heals himself for 300k there, and it's really irritating. So I brought along a Kistis instead, because we're going to set that fool back, because ain't nobody got time to waste on chewing through all the health that he's healed up. So I am going to just take a moment to go through my artifacts. These are the ones that I kind of managed to farm up before. Attack is definitely the most important thing for Ramza because all of his abilities are kind of built off attack. Although I haven't got him to crystal level 70 yet, and I'm not sure if I'm going to, because the only reason I would do that would be for perfectionism reasons. Because in my opinion his additional ability is straight up one of the worst in the game. The only thing it does is give him more attack, which you might think is good, but think about it, his HP triple plus attack has 150% overflow, right? But it only does one brave hit, so as long as you have 20,000 max brave or higher, he's never gonna exceed that overflow cap. And his EX weapon only does 2 brave hits, and they're almost certainly going to be capping 9s, because they were doing that before anyway. So you really don't gain that much from his additional ability. It's not worth a Bloomstone in my opinion. Like, maybe you can spare the yellow crystals if you're not going for selfie. I'm not sure if I will, I don't think I will, but I'm not entirely sure. But it's definitely not worth using a Bloomstone on Ramza. From this wave, I would actually say that the best one is Terra, because her additional ability is so central to her kit, but I don't think I'm going to be using Terra in Cosmos because she still has massive longevity problems. Like, if you pair her with characters like Ramza and Warrior of Light, then her Brave regen should be able to carry her and let her use HP plus so that she can always use the strong version of her abilities, but that means her damage per turn is wildly fluctuating, and she still only has like very limited skill uses. So I know that Terra gets a lot better with her EX plus, and she's definitely strong. Like, if she's waifu, or if you really like her and you want to make her usable, then you can definitely do that with Terra. But she takes a little bit of babysitting, and she definitely needs a team to be built around her so that she doesn't drag everyone else down. Meanwhile, you've got Noctis, who you can put anywhere, and you've got Warrior of Light, who you can put anywhere, and you've got Ramza, who you can put anywhere, and you put these guys together and it's just absolute destruction. Like, I could bring Vayne instead of WoL, to be honest, but I don't really feel like taking HP damage in the final wave. That's all I'm going to say. So I'm bringing WoL instead. Okay, so now we've got to this point. Let's jump into the quest and see how well we do. So first things first, always get up the Galvanize buff with Ramza first, because it is the buff that buffs your entire team. Please, please do not use Shout first. I've seen some people in co-op do that, and it's incredibly selfish. Just don't do it, please. Okay, everyone's buffs are now up. And the good thing about Ramza is that he also buffs everyone's initial bravery and gives bravery gen, so he synergizes really well with Warrior of Light in my opinion. I mean, like, most characters synergize well with WoL, but you know what I mean. The initial bravery mechanics for WoL and Ramza really pair it quite nicely together, and then if you throw in someone like Pain, for example, she just takes it to a ridiculous extreme, and in fact those three will probably just never run out of skills ever. Of course, then we have Noctis, who also never runs out of skills, and I just realised I should have used a launch there. That's definitely my bad. Oh well, never mind. Use a ++ because I can. Oh god, I took a break. That's horrible. Oh well, I'm not gonna reset the run just for that. So now we have HP triple plus on Ramza, so he can just like continue to not take up any turns. I still can't believe that shield got broken, man. What the hell? That's all sorts of wrong right there. Yep, I'm absolutely going to do this because I want the regular version of Shooting Star available for the next wave. And this is the reason. How's everyone's shields doing? Okay, everyone still has shields. We should be okay. I'm still gonna do that though. I need to refresh our Omega pretty soon, so I'm just going to set up with that. God damn it. Does this thing still have point blank warp on it? Yes, it does. I think we can afford to do something like that. No! Okay, good. It didn't HP attack. That's totally fine. Let's get a shining wave in here so we can heal up. Maybe I could have brave attacked for an overkill there, but we're fine as we are. You're still okay for shout? That's fine. Oh god, I should have... we'll be fine. I should have used the shield there, but never mind. Still battering everyone. I'm actually going to use Throw Buckler here because that gives WoL turn rate, and that allows me to use a launch with Noctis and get like a 3-person launch. There we go. That's on to the next wave. Against Dark Bahamut. So this guy. Well, the first thing we're going to want to do is we're abso-freaking-lutely going to want to get all of our shields up. And we need to shout to refresh that buff. Let's get a warp strike on there. Get that point blank warp debuff. So I'm actually going to stick it with Innovate so that we actually debuff its stats and slow down its turn rate a little bit. Oh no, whatever will we do? Don't kill us! Oh right, yeah. So that's one reason that WoL is really good. against this guy, because if you tank those, if it mega flares from break state and you just tank it with the shields, you ain't gonna take damage. Like, WoL is just so ridiculous, honestly. But yeah, let's Shining Wave to get those heals in. So we need to refresh arm again. So Ramza's just dealing all this damage just without taking a turn. It's like, oh, 39k here, 40k here. I just love it. And he plus he makes everyone that much stronger too, you know? Okay. Okay, this is where it's going to try to start healing. So this bit is honestly quite frustrating. I'm going to use Throw Buckley here just so I break it straight away. Because with Noctis, I want to use one of these outside of the summon. So what we're basically going to be doing here is stalling for turns. This really wasn't how I wanted this to play out. Never mind, we do what we can. You know what? I'm actually going to swap out WoL here for Kistis. We need to get that thing delayed. Need to refresh Armiga. I'm going to do that there. Okay, so I think we should actually be able to make a good go of it in the summon from here. Although, if I use Innovate with Ramza, that is actually going to be completely... Like, I want to use Innovate while Ramza has a lot of Bravery, because that will absolutely battery the party. Yeah, you know what, I think we can do it from here. Even if it's wasted battery on Kistis, we should be totally fine. Let's just go into it. Because Innovate battery is based on the amount of HP damage done, so we absolutely want to do this. Yeah, there we go. Then Wall comes in. Wall the goat with his big ass shields. And there we go. The job is done. So we had to adapt a little bit there on the fly, but it was still a relatively comfortable clear, and still a pretty good score if I do say so myself, considering we're not using Lail or Vayne or any of that nonsense. So, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and until the next video, I will catch you all later. Until then, take care and goodbye.